More news to bring you from that chaotic developing nation formerly known as the Commonwealth of Virginia. As of tonight, Virginia's three highest-ranking public officials, all of them Democrats, are embroiled in potentially career-ending scandals, and it seemed to come out of nowhere just last week. First, you'll remember, Democratic Governor Ralph Northam casually endorsed infanticide while defending a Democratic bill to legalize abortion right up to the minute of birth. Then just hours after he said that, a little over a day, I think, Northam was found to have a picture of men wearing a Ku Klux Klan uniform and blackface on his med school yearbook page. Oops. Almost immediately, pretty much the entire Democratic Party leadership called on Ralph Northam to resign his office. And among the most vocal was the Attorney General of Virginia, Mark Herring. Herring was appalled that Northam would do this. He just couldn't believe that someone could be that racist. And then today, Herring admitted that he, too, has appeared in blackface, which apparently is the equivalent of business casual for Democrats in Virginia. Will Herring resign over this revelation? Will party leaders ask him to resign? We're still waiting to find out. But in the meantime, we're mesmerized as well by the saga of Virginia Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax. Just days ago, Fairfax thought he was going to replace Ralph Northam as governor. Then it turned out that he, too, may be forced to resign from office, because a professor in California called Vanessa Tyson says that Fairfax violently sexually assaulted her at the 2004 Democratic National Convention in Boston, where both of them were volunteering, because both are fervent Democrats. At the time, Fairfax was a, quote, body man for disgraced Senator John Edwards, because the details here are just too perfect to make up. Tyson came forward a couple of days ago, and when she did, according to two sources who were in the room, Fairfax's first response to the story from Vanessa Tyson was, quote, F that bitch. It's not really the classic feminist reaction to an allegation of sexual assault. Now, Vanessa Tyson has released a highly detailed account of what she says happened to her and how has it affected her life ever since. It's all online, and it makes for harrowing reading if you care to read it. For Democrats, though, the response to all of this ought to be really obvious, because they just went through something amazingly similar a few months ago. Another professor from California accused another public figure of far less serious crimes with far fewer corroborating details. Democrats know they have to believe all women. They've told us that countless times. But this time, they don't believe all women. They don't care about Vanessa Tyson. F her, in the words of the lieutenant governor. She's in the way. Watch presidential candidate Cory Booker, and a self-described very good person, dismiss Tyson completely today as unimportant. Watch this.
I think we should be focusing on what's right now happening with the governor. I know you guys are going to try to focus on a lot of things right now, but right now my focus is on, again, calling for the governor to step down.
Yeah, Booker's got better things to focus on than some girl in California who's alleging sexual assault against one of his party mates. The Cory Booker of just a few months ago would be disgusted by the Cory Booker you just saw. Back then, sexual politics seemed more important than race politics. And now, it's the other way around. It's the never-ending car crash of intersectionality. Here's a reminder of the way it once was.
How we deal with survivors who come forward right now is unacceptable. And the way we deal with this, unfortunately, allows for the continued darkness of this culture to exist. And your brilliance, shining light onto this, speaking your truth, is nothing short of heroic.
Well, it was short of heroic then. It was a light in the darkness of our culture that Cory Booker, because, once again, he's an incredibly good person, way better than you, and he went to Yale, was going to shine to make this a better society. Now, who cares about this woman? Will she shut up already? What to make of this sudden change in attitude? Robin Bureau was a regional campaign manager for President Obama's presidential campaign, and he joins us today. Robin, thanks a lot for coming on. So I'm a little bit, as someone who has sat figuratively at the feet of Cory Booker in an effort to learn how to be a truly good person like he is, to achieve the kind of enlightenment he has, I'm a little surprised by the abrupt change of tone from you're a hero for coming forward with your allegation of sexual assault to shut up, honey, we've got better things to, quote, focus on. What would account for that?
That's really terrible. Optically, it doesn't get a lot worse than that because, as you said in the lead to the segment, we just went through this with Judge Kavanaugh. So, you know, Democrats and any politician needs to be consistent with their message, regardless of who's being accused. Yes. I'm proud that I was very consistent with Judge Kavanaugh and said he's entitled to due process, innocent until proven guilty. So, you know, I think that these allegations should be taken very seriously. I'm glad that the Democratic Party of Virginia is taking them seriously. Does he need to be removed from office right now? I said no when Judge Kavanaugh, when the same question was asked of me. So, you know, he's entitled to due process, but it's not looking good right now in Virginia, Tucker.
No, it's not looking. You have a marvelous way with understatement, which I admire. No, it's not looking good in Virginia. I would say that's true. What is with all the blackface? I mean, what? Anyway, no, but it's a serious question. So our Democratic leaders were saying we are, quote, taking this seriously, but how many have called Vanessa Tyson, who, and I'm not advocating for her position. I don't know the answer. I do believe in due process. Fairfax could be absolutely innocent. Maybe he is. But when these allegations were made against Republicans, you saw Democratic senators, Mazie Hirono and the rest, call up the person making the allegations and say, we'll shelter you. What can we do to help you? We're on your side. Tell your story. As Booker just said, you're heroic. Are they calling Vanessa Tyson, do you think, tonight and saying that?
No, and they ought to be, because, like I said, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you are. These are human issues, and they're very serious ones. So, no, it's disingenuous at best. Not enough people are coming forward to say this is a serious allegation. It should be investigated. I will say that the lieutenant governor himself said that he's open to being investigated. Let's see how far that goes.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know the truth, and I wouldn't presume to claim otherwise. I did read the very detailed account of Vanessa Tyson, who, whatever, you know, I don't know anything about her other than her CV, which is, I mean, she's got a PhD from Chicago, so, I mean, she's a serious person. Clearly, she is. Anyway, what do you make?
Tucker,
yes, of course.
I understand that she just hired the same attorney as Christine Blasey Ford, so you better believe this is a serious allegation.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you know, all allegations should be taken seriously. I'm with you on that. But I wonder if we're for due process, then why are all of us demanding that Ralph Northam, whom I think should resign for his support of infanticide, but on the question of his yearbook page, before he even knew whether it was him in the picture, people were saying you should resign before he could even offer an explanation. So that's not exactly due process, is it? Or even like enough knowledge to judge?
Here's where the tipping point was for me with that. He first said that it was him in the photo.
Yes,
then he backtracked. So at that point, he's a public servant. He lost the public trust. So once you lose the public trust, it's just over. He's got to go. I have some I don't know if I would take this seriously or not, but I understand that he's seriously considering changing parties now to an independent because he's lost so many friends on the Democratic side. I might believe that. But, you know, by and large, they've got some serious issues, and it's going to have ramifications for my party. I'm concerned about that, Tucker.
I agree, and I would correct you. There are no friends in politics, merely allies, momentary allies. Then what do you make of this character Herring, who's the chief law enforcement officer of the state, who told us a couple of days ago that Northam needs to resign because he wore blackface and that's racist, but oh, wait a second, I guess like a lot of Democrats in Virginia, he wore blackface too. So why shouldn't he resign as well?
And, you know, he called for the governor to do the same. Which blows my mind because he knew this photo was out there. To his only credit, his only redeeming quality here is that he told us this himself. So perhaps you could make the argument that he hasn't lost the public trust because he came forward with this information, said he dressed up as his favorite rapper, Curtis Blow. Okay, I got it. And that was 1980. I understand. I'm more concerned, Tucker, for the youth of today. You know, you and I, at our age, we didn't have camera phones. It was Polaroids. But I'm concerned about the youth of today with the technology.
Also, I mean, not to brag or anything, I wasn't wearing blackface, but, you know, maybe that.
No,
I'm waiting for Cory Booker.
I dressed up as Kiss.
I'm waiting for Cory Booker to weigh in on this Herring guy. I don't think he's going to be quite as racist because there's a Republican in line after him, so I think Cory's going to be okay with that. But I got to check our moral oracle tomorrow morning. I will. Robin Bureau, great to see you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tucker.
So what does the Vanessa Tyson story tell us about the current standards among our ruling class for allegations of sexual assault? It's a real question, an important one. Francie Hicks has considered questions like this for a long time. She's a former federal prosecutor and she joins us now. So, Francie, you're watching this unfold. 3 different stories, 3 different standards, shifting standards. For the rest of us eating popcorn with jaws open, what do we conclude?
Well, Tucker, I think it's very concerning when I see the rank hypocrisy among the so-called moral and thought leaders of our country in Hollywood, the Democrats, the Senate Judiciary members who went after Kavanaugh and said, hashtag I believe her, and that's what we always have to do. We always believe the woman. We believe her instantly. And that is not happening here. The silence on that side is deafening, and I really am appalled by it.
What do you think accounts for it? I mean, it was pretty unequivocal. And let me just say for the record, I don't want to be a hypocrite myself. I thought that Kavanaugh deserved due process. I don't think we should believe all women. That's insane. We shouldn't believe all men or believe all anybody. People lie. And that's why due process matters. So I just want to be clear. I'm not. But Democrats were as clear that we just axiomatically believe women. What accounts for the change?
Well, it looks like politics to me, Tucker. And as a prosecutor, you have to look at things neutrally, no matter who the person is that you're considering prosecution of. So when you looked at the allegations against Justice Kavanaugh and when you looked at the allegations against Lieutenant Governor Fairfax, you have to look at them with the same eye. That is, for me as a prosecutor, would I bring this case? Does this make a prosecutable case? Are the allegations credible? What do both parties say? And that is not what is happening today with Dr. Tyson's allegations. They're not even talking about them, much less assessing them for credibility.
So, I mean, if we politicize, and clearly we have, even the process of reporting a potential crime, I mean, what effect does that have? People feel like they can't go to authorities if they're from the wrong party or has the wrong political effect. I mean, that's pretty corrosive, no?
Well, it is. It has very deleterious effects on victims. When you say things like believe all women and then the other side is saying there's something wrong with her because she didn't come forward many years ago, which is common among sexual assault survivors, it just shows victims that they can't trust anyone. And that's my biggest concern here, is that when victims come forward, and many, many studies have shown that survivors delay reporting abuse for years or even decades, we are telling them that they should never come forward. And we can't have that as a nation if we expect to protect survivors and prosecute abusers.
No, it's a totally fair point, a nonpartisan point, a common sense point. Francie Hicks, thanks a lot for that.